Are the reports genuine? Is Morgan Harvey fighting close to home scars caused by her own mom, Marjorie Harvey? Figure out what lies underneath Morgan's obscure alienation from her mom, and how this family adventure could deeply affect the Harveys. Greetings, everybody. I'm Leah, and today we discuss the dazzling disclosures about the Harvey family. As the cloak lifts from the cryptic Marjorie Harvey, we start to get a handle on the greatness of the personal disturbance her little girl Morgan Harvey got through. When you grow up, you want to hear the two sides. See, you got it from a truant dad to the disarray of step families to the charges of Marjorie's dubious past. The intricacies are practically unimaginable. Morgan's extraordinary choice to reduce most, if not all, connection with the Harvey family just highlights her gloom. Yet what truly prompted this tragic alienation? And what do her dad, Jim's detailed story memoirs uncover about Marjorie's contribution in obscure dealings? Morgan's new choices have ignited far and wide chat online fundamentally because of her prominent non-appearance from two family social occasions, a remarkable one being Lori Harvey's new birthday slam. The missing connection in the festivals was without a doubt Morgan, which left the happy mood fairly deficient with regards to reports are twirling that the obvious family friction is the explanation for Morgan Harvey giving Maury's 26th birthday celebration. Slam a miss the mind behind scan by LH Lori went all out with two festivals, an elite law club occasion with a ritzy list of attendees remembering Dams and Idris, and a confidential story for Atlanta for family. Yet Morgan was prominently missing, as reasoned from virtual entertainment previews. Marjorie's common picture and epitomized a snapshot of euphoria with Steve Harvey, Lori's stepbrothers, and a sparkling disco ball background featuring Morgan's non-appearance. Considerably more, rather out of the blue, Morgan picked a family escape to the Dominican Republic. A reality gathered from her Instagram posts it. Rather out of the blue, Morgan picked a family escape to the Dominican Republic. A reality gathered from her Instagram posts. It appears Morgan Harvey has purposely put a few distance among herself and a Harvey family, a choice saturated with grief. Morgan is faithful in her conviction that Marjorie is at the core of the familial disagreement. Her activities, creating long culpability-loaded shaded areas over their public picture. What weighs vigorously on Morgan isn't simply her strained relationship with Marjorie, yet Marjorie's therapy of her organic dad, Jim Townsend. Morgan's fury towards her mom's choice to leave her dad has re-emerged furiously, especially with him presently composing his diary. As the cover of Reality lifts, Morgan's trouble appears to enhance regardless of Steve Harvey's sincere endeavors to assist her with exploring her excruciating past. The recollections of Marjorie's renunciation of her organic dad live enormous, with each piece of the riddle making sense. Morgan winds up rethinking her mom's real essence, Marjorie's activities during Jim's prison term, her quick separation, and her association with different men prior to settling with Steve Harvey sketch an image of a reset her lady life needs. Yet he didn't do it. Right then, he ought to have the digital begun to disentangle when Jim Townsend pronounced his expectations to compose a journal. He professed to have written 66% of his composition during his detainment, promising to lay bare Marjorie's supposed inclusion in opiates dealing. Also, he demonstrated his preparation to uncover Marjorie's suspected to varies and gold-digging propensities. Townsend declared, "I'm spilling my guts. Nobody realizes what occurred except for me and Marjorie." He further expressed, "I owe no devotion to Marjorie. She played her cards. I will recount my story independent of whether she knows the book's title, Snakes in the Nursery." The untold story of the existence of Jim further stirs up interest. The Hayes prods, you'll get a fantastic view to see what it resembles to confront viciousness with Marjorie Harvey, flow spouse of entertainer, slice humorist Steve Harvey, and covetousness, and what it can mean for somebody's life. Adding interest to the adventure, Townsend intends to deliver one, as well as 3 books for those contemplating the disintegration of Jim and Marjorie's relationship. Here's the origin story in the last part of the 90s, soon after their wedding, and keeping in mind that expecting their second kid's appearance, disaster befell him. Jim's actual person uncovered itself when he got him entangled with groups of hoodlums, prompting his detainment preceding Townsend's capture during the takedown of the medication rulers, and Marjorie's possible ruin. The couple had a wonderful little girl. Morgan, high-positioning authorities warned Jim about the developing doubt about Marjorie's job in the medication ring anyway, out of affection for Marjorie and his safeguard their then-pregnant wife Townsend. Hammered out an agreement with the specialist to end the examination, consequently forestalling her detainment. Consequently, he accepted all negative consequences, notwithstanding his lifelong incarceration. Jim just wound up serving 26 years' kindness of an exculpation. From that point, President Barack Obama, as would be natural for him, assuming that you add the year I spent in the state prison during my early stages in the game, it resembles 27 years, for the refrain 27 years in jail, initially given like a lifelong incarceration, without the opportunities for those watchers who may not realize Jim has been constantly setting up a book called Snakes in the Nursery. For quite a while, the impetus for his choice to take the book off the rack, so to talk, was Steve Harvey. Ladies, about desire or retribution, Jim has a privilege to feel deceived not long after Marjorie petitioned for legal separation from Jim, nearly as a keepsake for bearing the responsibility, and situated to continue on sincerely after a short time. Darnell Woods entered Marjorie's life, and they invited a little girl, Lori. What causes a commotion is the way that Darnell, who was additionally a street pharmacist, is Townsend's cousin at the appointed time. Darna likewise wound up imprisoned, raising doubts among FBI specialists about Marjorie's potential association. Some even guessed that she could be a source, given how both her accomplices wound up in prison. While she stayed sound, Morgan was conscious of this rotating entryway of connections, as Marjorie skipped, starting with one admirer, then on to the next. With her development came a superior comprehension of these complexities. It's staggering that Morgan needed to persevere through the aftermath for her mom's transient extreme sentiments in the midst of the tumult of Marjorie's adoration life. One man, Steve Harvey, remained steadfast. Their fortunate gathering in 1987 established the groundwork for a relationship that would climate many years of hardships, so I couldn't say whether it was from a frailty or what. After a short time, Marjorie stopped reaching Jim and confined her youngsters, remembering Jason during his time for jail. As per Jim, Steve incited this correspondence cutoff. Jim described such a long time I could call multi-day, and she was consistently there for me. He further expounded, such an extremely long time I could call out of the blue, and she was dependably there for me. Yet the day after she met him, my line was disengaged. Considering the ongoing situation, it's not really shocking why Morgan Holdonto's disdain towards her mom envisioned a difficulty for a 5-year-old young lady whose father is detained. The injury of such a division probably been serious. Years after the fact, Steve stepped in, introducing himself as the best mentor in her life. Yet it wasn't adequate to retouch or recreate the security she once imparted to Jim 3 days before she got hitched to Steve Harvey. We topped one could fathom Marjorie's choice to disavow Jim and safeguard her children from his wrongdoing loaded past. Yet who will address her apparent indifference with regards to Morgan and Jason? There have been mumbles about disunity inside the Harvey family with other posterity.